why doesn't your leg just audition for the school play? Because then it'll be in a cast. Isn't that funny? No.
The happy theme song and bright colors of That's So Raven hid a world of secrets most fans never saw. Behind the laughter and crazy disguises, the young cast was dealing with unbelievable pressure, heartbreak, and scandals that would follow them for years. A star who was secretly changed by the network to look thinner, a best friend who was fired twice, and a TV brother who simply vanished. What really happened when the cameras stopped rolling? The show you never knew. Believe it or not, the show that made Raven Simonet a superstar wasn't even supposed to be her show. Originally, the series had a different name, Absolutely Psychic. And Raven, who was already a seasoned actress, wasn't auditioning for the main character. She was trying out for the part of the psychic's best friend. By this point, Raven had been in the spotlight for most of her life. She was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and started her career as a baby model, appearing in ads for big brands like Ritz Crackers and Jell-O. At just 3 years old, she auditioned for a Bill Cosby movie called Ghost Dad. She was too young for the part, but Cosby was so impressed that he created a role for her on his legendary sitcom, The Cosby Show, where she played his adorable step-granddaughter, Olivia. After that show ended, she immediately joined the cast of another hit sitcom, Hangin' with Mr. Cooper. She even launched a music career at age 7, signing with MCA Records and taking vocal lessons from a young Missy Elliott. She was a true industry veteran before she was old enough to drive. So when she walked into the Disney audition, she was already a pro. During her audition for the best friend role, something amazing happened. The show's creators saw that Raven had a special spark. They were so impressed with her talent and comedy skills that they decided to change everything. They threw out the old plan and built a brand new show all around her. They even changed the title to That's So Raven, putting her name right in the spotlight. This was a huge deal. At just 15 years old, Raven Simonet became the first and youngest black woman to have her name in the title of a comedy series on the Disney Channel. She wasn't just the star, she was making history. Raven's influence was clear from the very beginning. When it came time to cast her best friend Chelsea Daniels, the part she almost played, the producers had someone else in mind. But Raven spoke up. She told the casting team that she had a better connection with another actress, Annalisa van der Pol. Raven felt their friendship would look more real on screen, and she was right. The producers listened, and Annalisa got the part. This decision created one of the most loved friendships on TV. But this early power also set up a complicated relationship between the two actresses, one that would have surprising twists years later. The perfect on-screen friendship was hiding a much more complex reality, and that was just the first of many secrets hiding behind the scenes. Secrets from the set. That's So Raven was known for teaching important lessons in between the laughs. One of the most famous episodes was called That's So Not Raven. In the story, Raven is a talented fashion designer who dreams of being in a runway show. But she gets rejected by a magazine because she isn't as thin as the other models. Instead of giving up, Raven's character decides to walk the runway anyway, wearing her own design and showing everyone that she is beautiful just the way she is. It was a powerful message of body positivity for millions of young fans. But what happened behind the scenes was the exact opposite of that message. According to a new book called Disney High and confirmed by people who worked on the show, something shocking was done to Raven in that very episode. Multiple sources, including one of the show's producers, Michael Feldman, revealed a dark secret. They said a Disney Channel executive ordered the visual effects team to digitally change Raven's body in the final scenes to make her look thinner. The very episode that was supposed to celebrate her body was secretly altered because the network wasn't happy with her size. Feldman called the decision shameful and tone deaf. He said it was shocking that the very thing the episode was fighting against was literally done to Raven herself. Recently, Raven Simonet confirmed this herself. She said she remembers having conversations about how they would take the film and stretch it to make her look thinner. This secret betrayal was part of a much bigger struggle for Raven. She later revealed that the pressure to be thin started when she was only 7 years old. Adults on set would comment on her body, and her diet was strictly controlled. The body shaming was so intense that she had 2 breast reductions and liposuction before she was even 18 years old, procedures that her own father suggested. The network was selling a story of self-love to the world, but behind the curtain, they were adding to the pressure that was hurting their young star. This was a heavy burden for a teenager to carry, but she wasn't the only one on set who was struggling. Her 2 best friends on the show were heading down their own difficult paths. On screen, Raven, Eddie, and Chelsea were the perfect team. Their real-life friendships even helped make their chemistry magical. But after the show ended, the actors who played them went in shockingly different directions. The fall of a future superstar. Everyone on set thought Orlando Brown, who played Eddie Thomas, was destined for greatness. Like Raven, he was a seasoned child actor before he ever set foot on a Disney stage. He scored his first big role before he was 10, playing a young cadet in the 1995 comedy Major Payne. From there, he worked constantly, appearing in shows like Family Matters, Moesha, and The Jamie Foxx Show. He was funny, charming, and incredibly talented. Both Raven and Rondell Sheridan, who played her dad, have said they believed Orlando would be the show's biggest breakout star. Rondell said he was sure Orlando was going to be the guy, the one who made it big. But that's not what happened. Shortly after That's So, Raven ended. In 2007, Orlando's life began to spiral. It started with an arrest for marijuana possession that year. From there, his legal troubles quickly got worse. Over the next few years, he was arrested for DUIs, and in 2013, he was sentenced to 180 days in jail. The charges became more serious, including domestic battery for an incident with his girlfriend in the parking lot of a police station. He was also charged with drug possession, including methamphetamine. In 2022, he was arrested again for domestic violence after allegedly threatening his brother with a hammer and a knife. His struggles became painfully public. At one point, he was homeless, and his brother took him in so he wouldn't have to live in a shelter. Friends and family even tried to stage an intervention to get him into rehab, but he only stayed for 1 week. As his life spiraled, he began making wild and disturbing claims online. He posted videos making strange accusations against Raven Simonet, saying she stole his phone, and even claiming in a rap song that she had aborted his baby, which he later said was a metaphor. He even got a large tattoo of Raven's face on his neck and chest. Throughout it all, his former castmates have shown him a remarkable amount of understanding and grace. Raven has consistently refused to attack him back, saying she doesn't need to stoop that low and that she knew him before his struggles began. Rondell Sheridan offered a heartbreaking reason for Orlando's fall. He explained that Orlando became the primary provider for his family when he was still a child. Rondell asked, "How would you turn out if you were 14 years old, given a huge amount of money, and made the father of your house with no one to guide you?" Raven agreed, adding that the Orlando people see now is the same person he was on set, but back then he had restraints because he couldn't lose his job. Once the show ended, those restraints came off, and he went crazy. They both still call him one of the most talented people of his generation, a star whose light burned out far too soon. Fired from the family. While Orlando Brown's struggles were loud and public, Annalisa Vanderpool's exit from the Raven universe was much quieter, but just as shocking. Before Disney, Annalisa was already a powerhouse on the stage. Born in the Netherlands, she moved to the U.S. as a toddler and quickly found a love for theater. At just 15 years old, she became the youngest actress in history to play the lead role of Eva Peron in a professional production of the famous musical Evita. Her talent was undeniable. For years, fans believed that the friendship between Raven and Chelsea was just as strong off-screen. But recently, Annalisa revealed a secret that changed everything. In a TikTok video, she hinted at a painful history with the franchise. Using a popular sound, she said if she had a nickel for every time she was asked to leave a show starring Raven, she would have 2 nickels. She then confirmed it on the Wizards of Waverly Pod podcast, stating she was fired from the reboot, Raven's Home. This bombshell left fans confused. Why would Chelsea be fired from a show built around her friendship with Raven? Annalisa explained that her relationship with Raven was more complicated than people knew. On the original show, they were friends, but on Raven's Home, Raven was also an executive producer. She was Annalisa's boss. Annalisa said a friendship can't be the same when one person signs the other's paycheck. She described Raven as being distracted a lot, having much more to do than she did. This created a distance between them that wasn't there when they were kids. Annalise was a main character for the first 4 seasons of Raven's Home, but was let go before season 5. To make things even more confusing, she was later invited back for a special guest appearance, leaving fans to wonder what really happened behind the scenes. But the biggest mystery is her claim that she was asked to leave the original That's So Raven as well. This is a secret she has never fully explained, leaving a shadow over one of TV's most iconic friendships. The perfect duo fans saw on screen was dealing with a power dynamic that most people never figured out. And the drama didn't stop with Raven's best friends. There was trouble brewing inside the Baxter house itself. The Cheetah Girls' collision. While Raven was navigating the pressures on her own show, she was also the lead star of another massive Disney franchise, the Cheetah Girls. But behind the girl power anthems and matching tracksuits, a bitter feud was forming that would last for years. The drama centered around Raven and her co-star, Keely Williams. Raven was already a huge star, and according to her, this created tension. During the filming of the second movie, she said she felt excluded by the other girls. She explained that the cliquish behavior made her feel ostracized, so much so that she decided not to return for the third and final movie. Years later, the two finally had a public heart-to-heart on Instagram Live. Raven told Keely that she felt hurt by her attitude, even bringing up an old comment Keely made about being jealous that Raven got the part on The Cosby Show. Keely admitted she could be a lot and apologized, saying she never meant to hurt Raven on purpose. But the drama didn't end there. Raven then pushed Keely to make amends with their other co-star, Adrienne Bailon. Keely refused, revealing that Adrienne didn't come to her father's funeral or even call her when he died. The emotional conversation showed just how deep the wounds were, revealing a side of the Cheetah Girls that fans never saw. The real reason Mom left. The Baxter family was the heart of That's So Raven. Victor and Tanya were the funny, loving parents that every kid wished they had. But behind the scenes, the family was facing its own set of challenges, from a sudden disappearance that left fans puzzled for years to a secret legal battle that would cause another star to vanish completely. For 3 seasons, Takea Crystal Kima played Raven's mom, Tanya Baxter. Before landing the role, she was already a comedy legend. Born in Chicago, she knew she wanted to perform since she was 3 years old. She got her big break in 1990 when she was cast in the groundbreaking sketch comedy series, In Living Color, where she created iconic characters and did impressions of stars like Whoopi Goldberg and Janet Jackson. After that, she played Bill Cosby's daughter on his sitcom Cosby. Then, at the start of season 4 of That's So Raven, she was gone. The show explained her absence by saying Tanya had moved to England to go to law school. For over a decade, fans wondered why she really left. Did she have a fight with the cast? Was she unhappy with the show? The truth was far more emotional and selfless than anyone imagined. Takea didn't leave because of drama or money. She left to take care of her grandmother, who had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. As her grandmother's condition got worse, she needed full-time care. Takea's contract was up after 3 seasons, and she made the difficult decision to put her family first. She later said it was the hardest thing she ever had to do, but that she would do it again in a heartbeat. What fans never knew was how the cast and crew supported her during this difficult time. Takea revealed that her grandmother would sometimes become combative, making it hard to keep a caregiver. So, she would bring her grandmother to the set with her. While Takea was filming her scenes, the mothers of Kyle Massey and Orlando Brown would sit with her grandmother in her dressing room to make sure she was safe. It was a beautiful act of kindness that showed the real family bond they had formed. Years later, the story came full circle. After 17 years away, Takea returned to play Tanya Baxter in the Season 5 finale of Raven's Home. She came back for her TV husband Victor's 60th birthday party. Seeing her back in the Baxter living room was an emotional moment for the cast and the fans, finally solving a mystery that had lasted for years. Corey's secret battle. While his TV mom was dealing with a family health crisis, Kyle Massey, who played Corey Baxter, was becoming a huge star in his own right. His character was so popular that he got his own spin-off show, Corey in the House, where he and his dad moved into the White House. After the show ended, Kyle continued to act and even competed on Dancing with the Stars, where he was the runner-up. He was a beloved Disney face, always smiling and making people laugh. And then he disappeared. For years, fans wondered what happened to Kyle Massey. He stopped appearing in movies and on TV and vanished from social media. The reason was a dark and complicated legal battle that was hidden from the public for a long time. In 2021, news broke that Kyle had been charged with a serious crime: immoral communication with a minor. He was accused of sending explicit photos and videos to a 13-year-old girl through Snapchat between 2018 and 2019. The story got even stranger when Kyle gave his side. In a rare interview, he made a shocking claim. He said that the mother of the girl who accused him had engaged in an inappropriate sexual relationship with him when he was just 15 years old. He called the lawsuit an extortion attempt and said the person who took advantage of him as a child was now trying to paint him as the predator. The legal situation became messy. A warrant was issued for his arrest after he failed to show up for a court hearing. The case's current status remains unclear, but the scandal was enough to make the once famous star retreat from the spotlight completely, leaving behind another dark mystery in the show's history. Life after the visions, where are they now? After growing up in front of millions, the cast of That's So Raven had to figure out who they were when the show was over. For some, it was a chance to take control of their own stories. For others, the struggles that began on set continued to follow them. Raven Simonet has truly come into her own. After a controversial period as a co-host on the talk show The View, where she made headlines for some of her opinions, she found her footing. She famously told Oprah she didn't want to be labeled as African American, which caused a huge backlash. She later clarified that she wasn't denying her race, but simply identifying as an American. She is now married to Miranda Pierman Madej, and the two host a podcast together called Tea Time with Raven and Miranda. On the podcast, she has opened up about many of the secrets from her past, taking back her own story. She has also stepped behind the camera, working as a producer and director, giving her the creative control she didn't have as a teenager. Annalisa van der Pol is also using her voice in new ways. She continues to act and sing, even making her debut on Broadway as the final belle in Beauty and the Beast. Like Raven, she has started her own podcast called Big Name Beaches with fellow Disney alum Christy Carlson Romano, where they talk about their experiences in Hollywood. In 2024, she got married to her husband, Jono Wilson, starting a happy new chapter in her life. Rondell Sheridan will always be America's favorite TV dad. He has continued to act and direct since his days as Victor Baxter. He even holds the record for playing a parent on the most Disney Channel shows. Recently, he faced a serious health scare when he was hospitalized for severe pancreatitis. He shared his journey with fans and started a GoFundMe to help with his medical bills. The response was overwhelming, with fans and fellow celebrities donating to help him, showing just how much love people still have for him after all these years. The paths for Orlando Brown and Kyle Massey remain uncertain. Orlando continues to have run-ins with the law and struggles with his health. Kyle Massey remains almost entirely out of the public eye, his future career unknown as his legal situation remains unresolved. Their stories serve as a sad reminder of the darker side of childhood fame. The world of That's So Raven was a place of fun, friendship, and seeing the future. But for the cast, the future was something they couldn't predict. Behind the bright lights and laugh tracks were real kids dealing with real problems, from body shaming and family illness to addiction and legal troubles. The visions on the show were just for fun, but the cast's real-life challenges were serious. Now, after all these years, their stories are finally being told, revealing a picture that is much more complicated and much more human than fans ever figured out.